So let me just start out. Welcome everybody. So I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. So for those of you who don't know me, who may have been pulled here by either John Watson or Jonathan Scar, my name is CT Finney. Friends call me Finn. You can call me Cody. I don't really care. I have a ton of aliases, and it depends on whatever nefarious thing that I'm doing in the moment. However, we are featuring today who I am super excited to be hosting, my last feature on Project Abracadabra, episode 7, the horror author monolith himself of Substack, John Watson. So hello. Tell everybody, introduce yourself, John.
Oh, I think you did it perfectly well yourself. John Watson, originally from Scotland, now living in Atlanta. You probably see me on Substack all the time because I pretty much live on there at this point.
Yeah, and as a voice actor, I am in love with this man's accent. I am just basking in it right now and just taking it in. So it's good to have you, John. And then allow me to introduce my co-host here, Mr. Jonathan Scar at Beneath the Wolf Moon himself. Jonathan, introduce yourself.
Hello, yes, Jonathan Scar, Beneath the Wolf Moon here on Substack. I like to write things dark fantasy, sword and sorcery inspired, and just season it with a dab of horror as I can.
And he's being
all you guys with us.
Incredibly modest. He's also a co-producer for Project Abracadabra. So Jonathan Scar is my esteemed co-producer. And I'm excited because he is totally fanboying out right now because John Watson is just like his sensation. So I'm really happy that we have everybody here. So hello and welcome. Glad to have you guys with us. So why don't we just go ahead and dive right in? We've got several fun things planned. Before we start, what is everyone drinking today? I have the day off, so I did a little. Yeah, you go ahead, Jonathan.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I am drinking an orange cream seltzer water. Really going for the hard.
So vanilla. So vanilla.
I know. Boring.
John, tell us you've got something better. What do you have?
Decaf coffee. It's even worse.
I guess I'm the only alcoholic. I've got my, special brew.
If I would known it was bring your own beer, I'd have brought something up, bottle of gin or something.
Yeah, well, whatever loosens the nerves, whatever works for you guys. So, all right, and everybody in the audience, if you like, tell us what you're drinking right now. If you are, please, as we go through this live stream, I encourage you guys to type in questions in the chat for any of the three of us. We'll be happy to answer them all as we can. We have a loose idea of what we're doing, but we're always open to a little bit of improv. So I encourage you guys to ask questions because it's a great thing to have John Watson here and to have him live with us. So Jonathan Scar, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
All right, John Watson. So you are the man, the myth, the legend, the behemoth of horror on Substack. And I know that you talked to me about I know you don't love compliments, but are you familiar with the term glazing? Because it's about to be a 1-hour glazing set.
Glaze away, man. I'm just thinking he's a big donut. Go ahead and glaze.
Context clues, maybe you can figure it out. But what I'm interested in is, okay, so we know you as this very prolific writer, and we'll get into that, into your just amazing level of output. But where did it all begin for you? Was there something at a specific age that made you think, I want to be a writer? Was it a book? Was it an event, a movie? What lit the spark that made you want to tell stories?
It started with reading books, actually. Kind of kicked it off. My mum was always reading books, so I would just read whatever she had, and it was at that time it was pretty much Agatha Christie books and stuff that she read. And then she kind of ran out of books and got me a library card. She took me to the library, got me a library card, and I just started reading all the time. I was really shy and really quiet as a kid, so books were kind of my escape. And I found myself, if I really liked a book, I think, what happened to these characters after the end? And I would take little pieces of paper in the house, maybe 4 or 5, and fold them over, draw a cover, and then write a story about that character. I just thought I thought everyone did that. I thought it was a normal thing. But
how old were you when you did that?
Probably about 12, 13. Started that.
Nice.
But I never thought writing or being an author was a thing. Just books seemed like this magical thing that came to show up in libraries, and I don't know how they got there. They just, So, I mean, you have to remember this was like probably 1982, even before that, 1980, 79, 80. So it was just, it was a library or your supermarket would have a shelf with books on it. That was it. It never occurred to me that I could actually do it and make money doing it.
One day,
even at then, I was probably 50 before I even realized that.
Yeah, for me, it started like I think it began with Harry Potter for me because I was a '90s kid, and like obviously that was like but it's really cool because it's just like the power of like one's own imagination when we're reading, and I think writers are generally like some of the most immersive readers. Like I'm speaking for myself, not you guys, but I'm assuming. But it's one of those things where it's like I feel like when a writer reads a book, we really just absorb the material, we live it, and it's just a really wild thing. When I was a kid, I would be like swinging sticks outside, pretending I was in my own little fantasy world. I'm sure my parents were worried about me. They were like, is he a schizo? We don't know, but I think it turned out okay in the end. But that is really awesome to hear.
And what were you pretending the sticks were? Swords?
Swords, absolutely swords. Yes, I'm a dark fantasy author. What else would it be? Like, I mean,
nothing phallic or weird like that.
And sometimes spears or staves, depending on whether I was wanting to be like, a wizard, or maybe I was pretending to be, I don't know, whatever I might have been. It could have changed. It was subject to change. But so my question for you.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I love what you said about just seeing books, and that's one thing. Like, I have kids of my own, and trying to encourage them to think about books as these things of value. There's something there. There's stories there. There's information there. Because I remember that feeling as a kid before I could even read, watching my family sit around with books, and it was like this magical thing to me that they were extracting stories or information from these objects. And before I could even read, I would just sit around and stare at books, and that's all I wanted to do, was to be able to read. So I find that.
And I think what Finn said is correct too. It's like being an immersive reader. I don't think you can be a really great writer unless you are an immersive reader.
Yeah,
because that's where you learn. That's where you learn plot, character, how you build a story.
Yeah.
If you go in totally blind, I want to write something, and you've never read a book. How do you go about doing that?
Exactly.
And you have to be there has to be that element of like, because reading as a reader is one thing, reading as a writer is another thing. And then as you begin to develop and as you learn more about like the process behind writing, you start looking into books and reading them differently. So you start looking for like, what is the author doing with syntax? How are they drafting their tension here? Like, and you begin to look very critically at it, or at least I do. I was also an English major when I was in college, so like I was trained to look for those sorts of things. Sometimes I just want to read a book and not think about it,
I'm able to separate that. I can just sit down with a book and shut off and nothing except the story.
I
might think about it that way after the fact, but while I'm reading it, I'm totally in the book and the story.
I love that you said that, because I've always felt bad when I'm reading. It's like there's a piece of me that feels like I should be analyzing what I'm reading. How are sentences constructed? How are they manipulating words, syntax, semantics to tell this story? But I don't. I just get lost in the story. And then I've done exercises where I'll study maybe something that someone has written that I like, to see how they're putting together sentences. But when I'm reading, I'm just in it for the story. I'm not dissecting it.
I think some of that too. I think a big part of separating that is you don't then absorb someone else's style.
Yeah.
If you have that kind of analytical approach to reading a book, you're going to somehow absorb little bits and go, well, I should do this in my writing, and it will change the way you write. And I don't. The way I wrote when I was 13 when I started, and the way I write now, I'm obviously better now, but it's the same. It's essentially the same. The way I use words, put sentences together, and like one of the things I do is I'll make intentionally long sentences. It seems like a run on, because I want you to be uncomfortable when you read it. You're like, this is so it's like comma, and you're going, what is it doing? And then it stops, and then it's a short sentence, and then so it kind of keeps you off balance, and makes you feel a certain way.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a really good point there too, because I think in like for creating that type of uncomfortability, that type of tension, there's essentially like two ways to do it, right? So there's two things you have to be thinking about. So one is the plot, like what is happening in this scene that is the root cause of the tension, but the other is the mechanical side of it as a writer, where you're like, okay, well, how do I convey this tension through my syntax? And that becomes your sentence structure and everything that you're talking about, which, you know, your run-ons or whatever it might be. But that is so acute, and that is really interesting to me too, to hear you say that, John, because like there is like we think about, when we think about writing, there's that emotional side of it, of course, but we also have a syntactical side of it that we have to take into consideration too. And when you find that harmony, which you do very well, by the way, then it blends like just perfectly. Like so that's awesome. We talked a little bit about influences too, and so I want to ask you for a minute there. So, like, how has your move from Scotland to Atlanta shaped your horror writing in general? And do Scottish folklore and storytelling traditions ever intersect with like that sort of Southern Gothic or like American folklore in your work at all?
I would say not at all. I would say it hasn't changed at all. The only different thing is I'm very visual when I look for inspiration. So like my wife and I will go on road trips. We're just away on the weekend there, actually out in Madison, Georgia.
Yeah.
And I see things and it just creates a story, but it's not any different than it was when I was in Scotland. It's just you've got a different frame of reference to what you had in Scotland. Like a couple of months ago, we were in North Carolina and we passed this road called Hoot Owl Hollow. And my wife said, before I saw it, my wife said, "Did you see that sign?" Because she knows how my head goes. I said, I did. And like I always have this little book, and I always scribbling stuff down because I'll forget. You know, you get to a certain old age and you forget stuff. So I tend to scribble stuff down.
So it's almost like you just have just a different pool of influences. Not necessarily the history, but just
what I see and what I hear. Sometimes mishearing someone saying something, I go, "Did they say that?" And they're like, "No, they said this," but what I thought they said sounds more interesting, and that sends me off.
I love that you bring that up. That's because that is a bit of my style as well. I know we've talked about it on this podcast before, and Finn and I have had this conversation. But I think it's a bit of that, what's referred to as the magpie method, where we kind of collect beautiful, shiny things that catch our attention and just kind of embed them cognitively and work it in. I feel like I do that a lot. Like creatures that I come up with in stories are based off of like power tools that I see in real life, or I flush a toilet and I see a swirl. And I'm like, ooh, like a whirlpool in a enchanted lake would be terrifying. And I feel like you do the same thing. I've seen you do some stuff. And apologies for bringing it, but I know you threw it out there on Substack. I think you had like food poisoning or something at some point, and you weren't feeling well, and you turned it into like a body horror. Just like you were
amazing.
With filling off. And you turned it into a literary experience. That's amazing.
Yeah. I think it was called Abomination, that story.
Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest one for that was back in my publishing days. I was writing off the grid and I was on a deadline. I had 10 days to finish it and I had the flu. I couldn't barely get out of bed. And I still had probably like 10, 15,000 words to write. And I had just hit this spot where it's like, this feels like a lull. I want to hit an action sequence, but it doesn't really fit. So I was trying to write and I went, I just got to go to bed. And I went to bed and fever dreamed the whole chapter. I just woke up.
It's incredible.
And wrote it as a dream sequence within the book, but it was what I dreamt. I dreamt the whole chapter.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Letharist
Archive says writing from experience makes it often so intense. Yes, it does. And that's a beautiful thing when you can take like just a very ordinary thing that happened, and then turn that into something creative. Like that's pretty awesome. I love to hear that fever dreams inspires your style. That's really
dreams,
awesome.
Just dreams in general. I mean, I keep a notepad beside my bed because some of them are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some of the nightmares are awful. Like when I don't want to get too heavy, but I was basically out for 3 years because mental health issues and anxiety and a little bit.
Yeah.
And the dreams I would have then were, oh God! But now that I'm back on medication and I'm doing better, I still have those dreams, but now I can focus and I can turn them into something that I see as positive.
Nice.
That's amazing. That is
That's
awesome. We're just for those, we have 28 viewers right now, which is incredible for a Substack live stream. So welcome. Just taking a moment to welcome everybody. We're interviewing John Watson, an amazing horror author here on Substack, featured on my podcast, Project Abracadabra, on the last episode. So if you guys have any questions for Watson, me, or Scar, feel free to throw them directly in the chat. We will answer them. I'm auditing the chat like actively as we're doing this. And we've been talking a little bit about backgrounds and like kind of what inspires us and what gets us into the groove and everything. And I think now we want to transition a little bit into talking more about influence and specifically horror films, because one thing the three of us all have in common is we write horror, and in various different methods. You have Scar's a little more grimdark with his, I'm more dark fantasy with mine, and then yours is just straight pure horror, which I love. So Jonathan, you want to go ahead and ask your two-parter here?
Yeah, and before I hop into that real quick, just funny story. So basically we just learned from John that whether he's in Scotland or the southeast of America, he's able to just kind of pull from his environment. It's funny, before we went live off mic, I was chatting with Finn, and Scotland came up. I had to explain to him that, because he got really excited, Scotland is not just a country full of men named Scott, because he got so about that for some reason, and I was like, no. It's,
fuck you, Scar.
No, they're all called Angus.
I love him so much. I have to give him all. All right, so yeah, back to horror films. You post a lot about horror, and I see a lot of the stuff that you share, and love some of the inspirations that you share, because I also share those as well. So this is a two-parter, and I'll throw the first part at you and say the second half, and so you've had a chance to respond. But are there horror films out there or directors that maybe have influenced how you craft tension, dread, dialogue, or character? Is it specific films you pull from for inspiration?
I'm really not inspired a lot by movies. I don't watch a lot of movies anymore. And I tend to be very picky. The ones that I really like are those that, from the very start, just kind of under your skin right away. Like Seven is a perfect example. That the opening theme of Seven is cutting, and it just like instantly under. More recently, Long Legs, instantly under my skin, because I love that sense of atmosphere that they build right from the start. It's building an atmosphere. It's building this whole kind of weird world that you get sucked into and feel uncomfortable your whole time you're there, but you can't look away. I love that. But I also like normalcy. A lot of what I write is just from very normal things, like everyday, like you mentioned earlier, like having a stomach bug, or having something stuck between your toes and it becomes something else. I like the kind of ordinary becoming just awful, and then you pull the I got a virus thing.
Yeah.
And then I just like to pull the rug away at some point and kind of turn out the horror aspect. So, but directors specifically, no, not really. In movies, not really. It's more, for me, it's more from books. It's always, reading's always been my thing. So books, it was more books. Like James Herbert was my first major
James
horror
Herbert.
influence.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah.
Seven's a good one.
Even I go back now and read his stuff, we write very similarly. I don't write a lot of fluff. I don't have like beautiful prose. I like telling a story as if you and I were sitting here and I went, okay, I've got a story to tell you. I like the way I would tell you a story, sitting face to face.
And that could be the best way to do it, I think, too, because like I feel like it's very easy for like writers to kind of like get into their own ego a little bit, and they start going off with all of the fluffy prose and stuff. And I think a lot of times the readers get lost in that. And what I'm seeing, the more modern technique in writing is just simplifying everything and doing just what you said, which is just like you're telling a story to like the people.
For me, instead of the character, I want to be the unreliable narrator. I want to be the one that's leading you the wrong way or making you think a certain way.
Yeah. Which you do wonderfully in the diner, by the way. Let me just say, one of my favorite parts, and if you haven't watched episode 7 of Project Abracadabra, then I highly encourage you to please subscribe to my page and then go on my table of contents. You can check it out. It's pinned. Scroll down, you'll see episode 7 where we feature his work. But one of my favorite parts in that, and just narrating it was so much fun, was when he gets to the diner, right? He walks in, seems like a pretty normal scene. Patrons are staring at him, but whatever. He's an outsider, right? And then he sits down, orders the apple pie. And then when the apple pie comes, it's like, I love the way that you transition from that, because it took me completely out of the moment of dread. And it was like, it was a warm apple pie with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. And I was like, to me, I was like, oh, we're safe again. Okay.
Yeah, the whole point of that was to make you feel like he'd found a home. And he had, but just not in the way that he thought he had.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Setting up a sucker punch.
Yeah, it's funny with the diner, because we were talking about influences earlier, and so that came from 3 different influences in 3 different places, 40 years apart.
Yeah.
The first one was in Canada. I was about 15, I think. I was visiting Canada. My sister lived there, and we were on this drive through the mountains. And my brother-in-law was driving. They came around this curve. And there was a vehicle on the other side of the road trying to overtake another one. And we somehow avoided it and ended up in this little... we stopped, everyone was shooken up, and we stopped in this little cabin, like in a little convenience store. And the people in there were just looking at us like, that we don't like strangers in these parts type of thing. So it was that kind of weird...
Very
you felt worse after being there.
Every Waffle House in North Carolina, by the way.
Waffle House, Waffle House at 2 in the morning. It was like that. So there was that. Then I was going to write a story called Troll Stegan, which was that road. And it was going to be a troll coming to life out in the mountain. Could never really kind of figure it out. And then the third part, what was the third part? I've forgotten already. There was something here. I've forgotten. But my wife and I were heading out to Savannah, and we stopped in at this Wendy's, and it was like an old Airstream trailer. Now, I'm really tall. Really, I'm a big man. Yeah. So we enter this trailer out in the country, and I'm having to bend down inside the Airstream to get to the table, and I'm all dressed in black, and I got the tattoos and a whole bit, and everyone's looking at me and looking at my wife. Yeah. She's this sweet little Southern thing, So I went, I got to go to the toilet, and everyone's looking at me. And then when I was gone, someone leaned over and said to my wife, "Are you all right? Should we call someone?" So that again was in my head too, and
that's funny.
So the whole diner, so there's 3 things that kind of meshed to create that 600-word story.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
For that part, I struggled because I really wanted to, with the music. I always put a little music into the production just because it augments the dramatic reading, right? But what I wanted to do when we got to that part, I was like, I really want to undercut the tense music here and just do something like soft jazz or whatever. But I was like, no. There's still tension here in loving this apple pie. And so I was like, all right, we're going to just keep the tension moving, But that was really awesome. I loved it. And even a little bit of jump scares too kind of came in there, with the diner lady. What can I get you, hun? Just imagine walking into this place, everyone's staring at you, you're terrified of them, and then suddenly her, So I love Marla. She was a great character. Marla was my favorite character to do in that, by the way. I just heard this New York kind of accent. She's a little bit further north, or whatever. And I was like, I just wanted to imagine the type of woman who was just, maybe she spent her entire life working at a diner. There's a little bit of Harley Quinn in there. And I was just like, it was so visceral.
That's probably my idea.
Yes, good. I'm so glad that I translated that correctly. Yeah, that's amazing.
By the way, you were calling out films. There's 7. What a great throw! What an awesome film. It's such a funny film that it's something that people still reference. The what's in the box. What's in the box?
It's one of the greatest endings of all time. It's just posted. No one saw that coming.
Gwyneth Paltrow's head's in the box. Spoiler alert.
No one saw that coming.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you've said that it's not necessarily films or directors that influence the way you craft prose in your stories. I do wonder, and this may be just quick ground to cover. is there anything with film technique that maybe has influenced the way that you write? I've learned that about myself in that I do a lot of action sequences, and so I almost think about it as a screenplay. That's been pointed out to me, where I think about choreography and what you can see and how that plays out. Do you feel like you have either consciously or subconsciously pulled some of the cinema that you love into the way you craft your written stories?
I can give you an example. I can give you a really good example. I like the kind of less is more type approach. I don't do a lot of gore. I'll do it sometimes when it's appropriate. I like the reader to think something's going to happen here. Something's going to happen here. And the perfect example that I can think of in film is from the movie Signs.
Yeah.
So there's obviously the birthday party scene, right, where the alien walks out. Yeah. But that set up an even better scene later on when they're all in the basement and the cellar doors are open.
Oh yeah.
So the camera keeps panning and you keep looking up those stairs. And everyone in the theater is sitting. You could feel it in the theater. Everyone's coiled because of the scene earlier with the alien. They're waiting for something to happen, and nothing ever happened.
Yes.
But that sense of absolute total dread that someone's going to jump out here, someone's going to come down, and nothing ever did. To me, that was just. I remember getting spots before my eyes because I was sitting holding my breath, going, "Oh God, this is going to be terrifying."
Just the possibility of what could happen was the terror.
Yeah.
He was letting the viewer do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Keep it simple and let the reader or the viewer do the work.
I think that can translate into books as well, to where it's the goal of a horror author, I think, to make the reader's own imagination become their worst enemy, right? So I've said this before, as a dark fantasy writer, like the most powerful, like, villain or antagonistic force is the one that the reader is subconsciously thinking about, like, before, like, without them even being in the scene. Like, if you can get that in your reader's head, then you've already established, like, dread and tension, and you have them sitting there thinking, like, okay, when is the other shoe gonna drop? So that's really cool to hear.
And I may be misquoting here, but it might have been Stephen King. Someone said that the moment you describe the monster, it's over, less scary.
Yeah.
Well, I think a great example of that, if we're going to go back to film again, is the first Nightmare on Elm Street. You hardly see Freddy at all. You hear the clip, even you hear his voice, you never really see him. I think you see him for like 5 minutes total on screen. That's it. You don't see him, so it's all in your head of what he's like and what
Right.
And to me, that's effective. So when the reveal comes, it's all the more shocking.
So I want to throw this one out to you as we're talking a little bit about influences also. You've established, like, films aren't super huge your thing, but so I'll ask, is there a horror film or perhaps like a book that you've read or something that you've just, like, connected with, any sort of piece of creativity or a specific scene that you consider to be a masterclass, like one that gives you chills or has influenced your own writing, like when you read it?
I can give you a book and a movie, I think. Book, I would say. Actually, I can give you 2 books. There's Magica by Clive Barker.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the only book I've ever
read.
We're
both Clive Barker, so metal. We're both fans.
Barker's.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I love that.
And The Elementals by Michael McDowell.
That's
it's
awesome.
Slow Southern Gothic horror that is quietly terrifying.
Yeah.
I remember I was in bed reading it, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I went, "I'm not getting up." I
love that.
Just sit for and go on YouTube for a minute, watch something stupid, and then go for a pee, and then back to bed. And then you read. Movie, I would say most recently, the new Frankenstein was just stunning from start to finish. Compared to Nosferatu. Nosferatu had the same kind of aesthetic to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't get through it. It's just painfully dull. But Frankenstein was just beautiful to look at. It was just, to me, I sat like just captivated the whole time.
It was beautiful.
That one is on my to watch list. I still need to watch that. And I'm playing Frederick Frankenstein in Mel Brooks's musical Young Frankenstein right now. I need to watch that to get the the full, like, feel of that that
It's
kind of
definitely,
like
it's definitely a
mania and
different take on it,
craziness.
but it's really, really, really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I'm putting
beautiful.
that on my list.
Funny
for sure.
story about Nosferatu. I saw that in the theater because that came out at Christmas. He typically drops those horror films at Robert Eggers around Christmas.
Which I love.
It's perfect. But I saw
my
it in the
favorite
theater,
Christmas.
and I remember it was so cold outside, and the theater that I saw it in didn't have heat. I guess the heat was had shit the
wow.
bed, and I was like, you could see your breath in the theater. And
See,
so
that
we're
would have
watching
been cool.
like
That
these
would have been
really
cool.
Pennsylvania mountains with snow, and I'm literally just like freezing.
Shivering. Maybe they did that intentionally.
It was very immersive for sure.
That's
It told
awesome.
me on that.
So now what we want to do is we want to pivot just a little bit. We are at 30 minutes, y'all. I can't believe 30 minutes has already gone by because like I'm just
Should we ask
having
our
a
first
blast.
question?
Like, well, are we wait, what are you upending the script?
Are we recording? Are we live?
We are live.
Is this thing on?
I want to talk a little bit about like being, so obviously you're a prolific writer, right? And you have several subscribers on Substack now. So I'd like to kind of pivot into lifestyle and like what that's like for you. And I'd like for Jonathan to go ahead and open us up with this question as we pivot.
So obviously, and for folks who don't know, you just churn out content and quality content. Put it out. If you don't know, go check out John's stuff. Subscribe. Be a paid subscriber. It's like $5 a month. That's like a coffee.
Yeah.
$30 a year. You can get a whole year for $30.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I've set everything as cheap as they'll allow. I would go even cheaper, but they only allow.
Yeah.
Some of the best content, and you put out so much, which is amazing. And so you've got tons of you publish novels and novellas, and then you're just daily putting out so much on Substack. Just dropping content left and right. I'm just curious, what is your process like? I mean, for keeping that kind of output sustainable, do you have like a strict routine? Do you kind of have like creative bursts, and so you'll dump and kind of schedule? How do you do all that, and how do you avoid burnout?
It's very much routine. And burnout is what happened to me before. I mean, I put out, I think my first book was published when I was 51. I'm 50. I'll be 59 later this year. So I'm 58 now. So in the space of 5 years, I put out 16 books.
Never too early to start. Sorry,
yeah, I agree.
I hear people say that all the time. They're like, "Oh, I can't do it now. I can't." Yes, you can. Because like that's yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. So I burnt out then. I burnt out pretty badly, and I got in a point then where I thought, you start going, how am I going to write this next one? I've got a book that's half finished that I don't know if I'll ever see the light of day. And I just really crashed and burned really hard. Like anxiety got me, like my depression. I've always had it, but I was off medication at that point for a few years, and I thought I could manage it myself, and turned out I couldn't. And it was about this time last year, I ended up in the ER. I was having a series of anxiety attacks, and then one just put me in the hospital. So once I had to go to the doctor after, because it's depressing. I had to go to the doctor after the fact. I was actually quite healthy, other than up here. So once that was fixed, it was like the faucet had been turned on again, and all the ideas started. Because that was never having an idea was never a problem for me, never a problem. So, but part of keeping myself level is having a schedule. I have to know what I'm going to do tomorrow, and the day after. So I've very much got a routine.
Or do you kind of have like what does a 9 to 5 in the day of John Watson look like with
It's more like a 9 to 8.
Okay.
I love that.
It's more like a 7 to 8. I also write for a sports betting website. So they send me a schedule every week. So I start that usually between 7 and 8 somewhere. I'm usually done between noon and 1 o'clock, and then the rest of the day is just me writing what I want to write. And like I say, I have a definite schedule. Monday I've got an A to Z horror going right now. Tuesday's travels. Wednesday's almost like a free day, because I can say it's a paid subscriber day, but I'll find an old story, or I'll write a quick drabble, or do something. I can have a behind the scenes thing. for subs only, or paid subs only. Thursday's more drabbles. Friday's a flash fiction. Saturday is a drabble that turned into a comic book style, and then Sunday's just like a random horror essay. It might be like a haunted place. It could be anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's something I have to run every day.
You have like a schedule, like the schedule is set for you. Then I think that's incredibly important.
It's a job to me. It's a full-time job.
Yeah, and I think that's what the go ahead. Sorry, Scar, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it just sounds like a little bit every day is kind of what is a bit of the trick there.
My thing is I'm not good at much. I'm adequately good at writing. So
you're so modest. He's so modest.
I don't believe you. We'll let it go.
It's not that fake modesty where you go, "Oh, tell me I'm great." It's not. I really, I can string words together quite nicely, but I'm not. I'm never going to be a huge Stephen King or anything like that. But it's a job to me, and I think people who are taking the time to subscribe deserve something. And I don't. For me, it's not just I can sit all day and just write notes. Funny little notes or do things, which I like to do too. I like doing notes as well, but I feel like I have to deliver something of some kind of value.
Yeah.
So I push myself to write something. But I also got to the point where, speaking to the burnout part there, I'll also say, I don't feel right today. I'm just gonna sit it out, like we did last weekend. But my wife knew I was kind of getting to that point. So she booked it the weekend away, and she said, like, don't bring a laptop, just.
Yeah, the self-care aspect of that, being a content creator in general, is so incredibly important. And like, I mean, consistency is important as well, but also like, people have to understand that like, I'm not an Android. You're not an Android. Like as much as I would love to be able to push stuff like that. It'd be fantastic, but we're not Androids.
I wish you were an Android.
Content creators that are human beings that just happen to be creating creative stuff. So, and that's one thing I've had to learn too, is like, you have to schedule in like that self-care time for your own mental health.
Because, that's good first.
And I'll say, just to be honest here, I appreciate you talking about that and being very open. And
thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
It's a tough thing.
Yeah, I used to kind of not do that, but I think it's not right to not do that. Too many men, especially, suffer in silence with stuff like that, and I think you have to say it's okay to feel it. It's okay to. I mean, I'll still wake up some days and just have a complete breakdown and cry, and for no reason at all, and then go, okay, good, let's go.
And now I'm good.
There's a stigma around it, and I can tell you, just as good buds with fan, with it, no shame here. I mean, it takes an incredible amount of courage to face mental health difficulties and then to talk about it publicly, and I think it's very helpful for people to hear that. So
it is.
I agree. Because I went through that whole phase of I got to be a man and not take the medication, but then now I know I'm going to have medication the rest of my life, and that's okay. If it means I've got a good quality of life, then so be it.
Absolutely.
If I got a pill every day, then so be it.
Absolutely.
And so and I do want to touch also, yes, the mental health is important, and also like one of the biggest things I learned, like if for people who are watching who are interested in growing their Substack, is I liked what you said, John, about treating it like a full-time job, because it really is. Like you if you want to grow your Substack authentically, and you want people to actually read and engage your stuff, like it takes a couple of things. Number one, you have to do it as though it is giving you life to do it. So you make it your world, you make it your job, and you make the time to do it. And then secondly, you have to be able to schedule yourself and be consistent with that schedule. So you post regularly and you give things to your subscribers, you give them a reason to subscribe to you. And thirdly, community, like you engage with them too, like that's one of the big things I've learned. And I've met so many amazing people, now you included in this, because of that community aspect where it's like, reach out, talk to people, and like,
And the easy way to do that is kind of what I do. But now you can schedule notes. I schedule 4 notes. Most nights I'll schedule 4 notes. Yeah. So when I wake up in the morning, I usually get 75 to 100 notifications. So then you're just you answer things that people have said, even just a like. You answer, and you find new people, and like if I see someone new that shows I'm not following a sub to, I'll go look at the profile and go, is this someone I want to sub to?
Yeah.
I do it.
So we are now at the 40-minute mark, which again is wild. We usually try to make these live streams an hour or less. I'm personally okay if it goes over today because
You can go as long as you want.
I have nothing to do.
Today,
So,
you can go as long as you
yeah.
want.
So, but
You know,
what I
it's
would like to
conversation when it's I cannot believe we're 40 minutes in. So like,
I know it's wild. I want to ask. So we did talk a little bit about the diner already, and you mentioned what your inspiration behind the piece was. So that answered part of this question that I have. I have another two-parter for you. So first of all, the diner. For those of you who are just joining, we have 37 viewers, which is insane. I love that. Thank you guys. Make sure that you've given your subscription to John, or if Scar or I have brought you here, and Jonathan, Scar, and I would love a subscription as well because we're always constantly producing content and similar stuff as well. So please check our Substacks out. But we were talking about the diner, and what I really loved about this piece and doing this piece is we chose the cosmic horror subgenre with it, which is a beautiful, wonderful genre. I've been a fan of cosmic horror since I was a young kid reading Lovecraft. That was like who got me into that aspect of it. And what I wanted to know specifically is what made you decide that cosmic horror was the genre you wanted to explore with the diner specifically?
It's a good question. And it's because I'm terrified of it. It's something I really want to write.
Yeah.
It's something I don't think I'm good enough to write.
Mm-hmm.
I've dabbled in it twice, that story, and I've got a novella called Rotten about a guy that gets a flesh-eating disease. He gets a cut. He's in a lake in Florida, gets a cut in his leg, flesh-eating disease, but it's these worms that are inside. So it's him like a diary.
Yeah.
It's actually a gratitude journal. Again, it comes from me. I had to, back in the day, write this gratitude journal because I was, and it turns out these worms, these segmented worms, and he starts to hear the chanting in his head and all this type of stuff.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So it was kind of touching on cosmic, but it terrifies me to do. I've got a whole story in my head.
Yeah.
The title, I know how the cover would look. It's called Montauk, and I'm too scared to pull the trigger. So nice. I can flirt with it a little bit, thinking, okay, if I flirt with it at some point, I'll just go, you know what, I'm going to do it. But I don't know that I ever will.
Yes. I think, it's a fun genre to explore. Like I love cosmic horror, and like when you can write it well, it does so well. And I think part of the thing is now translating, like, well, how does cosmic horror translate to a modern setting? And once you figure out that algorithm, then like, yeah, you can do some wonderful things with it. I think it comes down to like almost real life everyday situations like what you just mentioned, and there being a source to that. And I think cosmic horror has kind of evolved over the years, especially since Lovecraft released it, so that's awesome. And what I wanted to ask you too was, what is your favorite subgenre of horror to write in general out of all of them?
Creature features. I love
creature
monsters.
Features. Oh, that's so cool.
Monsters. That's what when I was a kid. I grew up on the old black and white movies, the Hammer House of Horror and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like when the Ray Harryhausen movies came around with that stop motion, it's like, oh my god, I thought I died and got to heaven. It was the greatest. Yeah. I love creatures. And I think it can probably start with dinosaurs, but and then it just evolves. And so Creature Features, I love.
I saw Creature from the Black Lagoon when I was.
That was probably my first movie ever.
I don't even know. Same. I don't even remember how old I was. Not very old. It scared the shit out of me, but I just remember thinking that creature was so cool. And
it's such a cool.
It's a cool concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
My first creature feature that I experienced was Wolfman. I loved that one so much. It's such a classic one. I'm obsessed with werewolves slightly. Got my little wolf ring on today, has nothing to do with Jonathan Scar at Beneath Wolf Moon. I'm not married to him or anything.
That's not what you told me before. He's different when no one's around, folks.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I think the werewolf genre is one that needs to be updated.
Agreed.
I think the world is crying out for a really, really, really good werewolf story.
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't like Nosferatu, but are you guys at all excited about Werewolf, the next Eagers film that's coming out. Have you seen the trailer for it?
I have not seen the trailer for that.
I'm going to give you a hot take. I don't like his stuff at all.
You don't really? Well, moving on.
It's terribly dull. I can't get through it. I just find myself like, oh my god, something happened.
I hear you.
Yeah.
It is a slow burn. That's
yeah.
I think it might be something. If I was in a certain mood, I might be okay with it. But I just want to sit down and be entertained for an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Even the Witch didn't do it for you.
I've never seen The Witch.
For
that reason, I don't want to.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Witch was like that one. Okay, well, it's first of all, it's a period piece, so if you watch it, you have to go into it like with the understanding of. I mean, they're speaking in the King James language pretty much for the entire length of the film, so you have to have your basic like Shakespeare understanding like when you go into it. However, it is one of those where it was like I remember like the way that they the tension was, I thought, crafted very well for that one. And I don't know. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's like I don't know. I mean, I liked it. But it was very slow, and there were a lot of parts where I was like, okay, I really need like this goat to just gore someone already. And when the goat does gore someone, then I was like, thank you, God. I needed to see something like that happen. So
I almost
Black
Phillip.
Do you want to live deliciously?
You know,
that's
when
one
I
of my
think
favorite.
about it now, I can lean to more kind of towards B-movie horror cheese as opposed to high art like that.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Campy is always fun too.
Yeah, some good campy, pulpy. Before we switch too far off the topic of horror films, just favorite. I seem to remember at one point you posting about The Descent.
I love it.
I love
that's a good
so
film.
much, man.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I know it's divisive. Some people are like, "What? That was," and then other people are, "Oh, it's incredible." That was a film that I love the creatures, and then there was a whole nother story tension between the characters, but just the setting, the claustrophobic spelunking and all that stuff.
It's the setting.
Yeah,
it's the setting.
That one did it for me.
This is another thing I love, and when I write, is to have the location be a character essentially.
Yes.
And in The Descent, that cave was a character.
Yeah.
Yes.
That cave itself was like a character.
Yeah, and I think you're right, and that speaks to like whether it's dark fantasy, grim dark, whatever genre you're writing. It doesn't matter. Like it could be just a regular fiction piece, but if you have your world itself be the antagonist, like I think that's incredible. You know, I
think the perfect example of that is the movie Session 9.
That's
great.
It's the building. There's a definite villain in it, but the building is the villain to me.
Yeah.
You know,
when I was doing my own serial, A Bargain to Become, I really wanted to play with that idea of environment being the antagonist. And so the whole story, it for one of my characters' arcs in that is he goes into this place. It's called the Shadow Mirror, and it's this extra planar thing that kind of bleeds into like, you know, the regular world, and it happens at nighttime. And so you get all of these like crazy weird things happening at night. And so I had a lot of fun crafting that one because I was like, this is like it's a realm about forgettability, which to me is a very terrifying thing, just slowly sinking into like an oblivion, not being able to remember your own name when you wake up in the next morning, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then Scar does it with Ethroth. His world is so freaking hostile. Like, I mean, like you have acid rain that just dissolves the flesh of people and stuff like that. So that's really incredible to me. Like, and I love that you said that because there is a super big power in just making your world itself an antagonist. So, all right. So pivoting, let's see. We kind of answered 7 there already, didn't we, Scar? Do you think?
Yeah. We can.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a few minutes. So we're going on 10. I want to get to this one because I'd love for the viewers to be able to hear the exciting things that you do have planned. So looking ahead, what excites you right now the most? Is it publishing new books, your Substack, or your podcast, or do you have any projects coming out that you're very excited about?
I think my days of actually physically publishing are probably done.
Okay.
But I've got my own little store now, my own little buy me a coffee store, so it's just ebooks, and I keep them as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
I'm writing a YA horror novella.
Yeah.
You
want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's basically the usual teenage girl angst has to go spend the summer with her grandfather who owns this old antique store. While her parents are trying to fix their marriage, off in Rome trying to fix their marriage, and she finds these classes. This cute boy, are helping clean up the store, and she finds these classes and puts them on, and she can see monsters when she wears the glasses, and finds out there's monsters living in the real world.
That's
so
awesome.
Then it becomes a kind of monster battle thing.
Yeah. Do you have a projected release date for that? Are you publishing?
Yeah, probably. It'll definitely be before the end of this year.
That's awesome.
It might, I've got a vacation in September. I'd like to be finished before then.
Okay.
So
your goals.
I can finish. I mean, if I sat down and just wrote it, I'd finish it in less than a month.
I love that. That is goals. All right. So we have a lot of exciting things coming from John Watson. So again,
tell us a little bit about your podcast. Isn't that just getting off the ground?
Yeah, it's basically just, I call it a podcast because that's what they say on Substack, but it's just, I do 3 drabbles on Tuesday and 3 on Thursday. So now it's just me and I narrate them.
Nice.
I start the whole thing with a fake sponsor,
That's
Burial
cool.
Grounds, stuff like that, just hoping that someone will go, that's a terrible sponsor, let me sponsor them. But it'll never happen.
Nice.
So it's just me telling 3 little stories and that's it. So they're usually less than 5 minutes long, usually.
Yeah.
That's
amazing. Every Tuesday.
And I know we got some fun activities to plan here at the end, but I've got to ask you, Finn and myself, we're both we dabble. We love horror. We love so many genres, but we're both pretty hardcore, dyed-in-the-wool, dark fantasy boys with the stuff we write. Have you ever considered? Would you ever write something in the dark fantasy, sword and sorcery genre? I would tear that up.
No, that's not it's not. I've got a book downstairs that someone taught me into buying for dark fantasy, grimdark. Patrick Rothfuss.
That's a good one.
The name of it.
The Name of the Wind?
That's it. Yeah. That's the one.
That is a good one.
Great.
Yeah.
And I opened it and I got about 2 pages and I went, I'm not ready for this just quite yet. It's just me. I'm not like a fussy type reader. Horror is my thing. I just like reading horror.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll take it with me on vacation and try and.
That would be cool. That's our challenge. Our challenge for you. Write a short.
I wrote a short story that was it was basically a horror 80s style slasher was the whole premise. That was the vehicle I was using. The
Wraith of Nalvarn?
The Wraith of Nalvarn. But I set it in a fantasy world. So there's castles and nobles and all that. But the ultimate thing is you've got this slasher villain, almost like a Jason.
See, that would make sense. Maybe if I did like a modern urban fantasy type of thing.
That would be cool. Yeah, you could totally do that.
If you ever decide to tread down that path, I will be right there waiting. I would love
okay, maybe that'll be 2 challenges. I'll try and read that book and I'll try and write a short.
Nice. I look forward to it. I hope that you will tag us in it when you publish it. I want to see it. Yeah.
It'll probably absolutely suck balls, but I'll give it a try.
Doesn't matter. We're gonna love it anyhow. We're gonna eat it up. All right. So do we want to go ahead and do we want to move into our game round? Should we do that now?
Let's fun.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. So what we've done, folks, is we prepared. We spoke to John earlier. None of us knows the questions that are about to be sprung, but all of us have prepared trivia questions for each other regarding horror. And we also have would you rather scenarios. So for the last few minutes here, that's what we're going to do. So let's see. Why don't we let the man himself kick us off? So John Watson, why don't you go ahead?
How do we want to do this? Do we want to both say our answers and just see who's what do we do?
That's probably the best because we don't have a buzzer or anything, right? So and I may not know. I sometimes suck at trivia, so we'll see.
Well, I tried to keep them pretty easy. And one's kind of a trick question.
All right. So what we'll do, this will be the order. We'll do John, We'll do me. We'll do Scar. Okay, and then we'll rotate. We'll cycle through. When we do all the trivia, we'll do the would you rather scenarios. I think we've got plenty of time for all of that, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, John, kick us off. What you got?
Right. Trivia question number 1.
No
In the
cheating.
original,
Scar.
no cheating. In the original Night of the Living Dead, what color is the blood?
Ooh, is it? I think I know this one. Green. It's green, isn't it?
Black?
No.
Neither
We're
one.
both wrong.
Oh no.
Okay, what's the answer?
How many colors do you know?
It's in black and white. It's in black and white, so you don't know what the color of the blood is.
Oh, that was it was a low blow.
It's the black, but yeah, technically we don't know.
Why did I
Should have
think
read
about
that. Should have read.
Could have been.
It's like it
That
could've
was a
been
good one. I like that.
wrong.
That was really good.
That was
a
kind
great.
of sneaky.
God
Okay, I got
damn,
one for you now.
got it.
This is really gonna test. This is gonna test your movie trivia knowledge. So, should I read it in like my narrator voice?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Yes.
The Scream franchise, which began in 1996, brought the terror of a phone call to the silver screen. But it wasn't the first horror film to do so. What 1979 horror film was the OG of the unknown voice on the other line?
When a stranger calls,
Yes, you got it. Oh, that is so true.
I was gonna
You
say
beat
it.
you to
Beat
you
me.
check the
You
children.
took mine.
See, you're right in my era there. You're right
It
in my
is so
wheelhouse with it.
Have you checked
Excellent.
the children? Love that one. All right, Scar, hit
Right.
us with yours.
Boys ready? So this is a I'm gonna hit you with a question, and then when you respond, I've got a bonus follow-up that'll be real quick. So before he scored the hockey mask, what did Jason Voorhees wear over his face?
I think it was like a cloth thing. It was like a
That's what I was going to say, like a potato sack.
what's it
type of
called?
thing.
Yeah, like a potato sack thing.
It was a burlap sack. Yes.
Ah, that's it, burlap. Okay, all right,
Yeah,
very
that's it.
good.
I would say that's correct. Follow-up. In which film did he first don the hockey mask?
Oh, the second one. It was definitely the second one.
I was going to say too.
Because
It
the
was-
first one, his mom was the killer.
It was his mom. Yeah, it was his
So-
mom in the first one. He didn't kill
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah,
in the first.
Second one's it's 3 where he first gets the hockey.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All
really?
right. So the third
I
one.
recently watched every single one of those back to back, and it was an incredible journey.
That's a really good trivia question too. Like, how many people did Jason kill in the first Friday the 13th? It's like none.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
How many people were having sex when he killed them? That's another interesting one.
99%, I think.
Most of them.
Because if the 80s wanted to teach us anything, it was like having sex will lead to death. That's going to happen,
I'll take that. I'll take that chance.
right?
What a way to go out, you know?
All right,
Right?
John Watson, hit us with your second trivia question. What do we got?
Right, this is a little bit easier.
Okay.
In the movie Jaws, what is the name of the island where it all takes place?
Oh, I know this. I know this. It was it Coney? No, it wasn't Coney Island. That's New York. Oh, I'm wrong.
I don't
It's not
remember.
Fire Island. Fire Island is a different thing. I don't know. I can't remember.
It's Amity Island.
Amity Island. I knew that.
I almost
freaking knew
said
that.
Epstein's Island, but that's different, right?
I've heard Scar was a usual guest.
I'm saying nothing.
Keep anyone in the Epstein files.
All right, here's a good one. This is great. This should be all right because you both are Clive Barker fans. So, in Clive Barker's original 1987 Hellraiser, what is the proper name of the puzzle box, and who is the mysterious toy maker said to have created it?
It's the Lamarchand box. And
Has a different name.
I was looking at this earlier, and it's completely slipping my mind because it was going to be one of my questions. The simple configuration, the what configuration?
it's like a
You're
pyramid.
close. You both are close. Okay, so all right, fine. The Lament Configuration is the name of the box. Yep. And the you were partially right with the toy maker Marchand. It was Philip de Marchand or something like that. Philip Marchand, I think was it. So yeah.
Yeah, Marchand. I got the box in it.
Nice. All right, your turn, Scar.
Okay, so I've got two here. I got to decide. Do you guys want? Okay, I'll let you guys choose. Do you want to do a little bit older or a little bit modern in your?
I would choose older because I want to look smart. Because modern are probably. Or you can hit me both. Just hit them both.
Go older. Right, I want to show him up.
What is the name of the isolated hotel in The Shining?
Oh,
The Overlook. The Overlook.
You're right.
Overlook. That's it.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You beat me to that one.
All right, second one. We'll do a lightning round here. In Jordan Peele's film Nope, I don't know if you guys have seen Nope.
I haven't seen it.
Have you seen it, John?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The mysterious flying saucer UFO terrorizing the ranch is actually what? You remember?
I remember.
The idea is that it's like a UFO.
It was something to do with the camera that killed it. It was something to do with the camera that oh my god.
Can we use a lifeline? Can we call in someone in the audience?
Phone a friend. Phone a friend. Does anyone in the audience know what the creature actually was in Nope?
Linda says she loved Nope, so maybe that should be. If she is right, we are at 40 viewers. That is wild. Yes, wow, 40 people on this live stream. I'm totally beside myself.
Well, if someone wants to hop in, I'll go ahead and throw it out there in the interest. It was a creature that was like taking the shape of a UFO, but it was called, I think it was called Jean Jacket, but it was like this predatory. Yeah, it was this predatory shape-shifting monster.
Nathan said a cloud.
You can like Jordan Peele movies either.
Jean Jacket. There we go. Yep, that's it. Jean Jacket.
Does anyone know what Nope stands for? A lot of people are just like Nope, like it's when people see things scary, they see Nope. Does anyone know what the title was based off of?
I don't.
It's an acronym for Not of Planet Earth.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that. That's really cool. All right, so last round, we're a little bit over an hour, but it's all right. I mean, we have 40 viewers, which is insane to me. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you guys are all here. Like,
I'll see you all day. I got nothing else to do.
I'm beside myself. I am. So for those of you who may have just joined, what we have been doing is we've talked all about craft and process. So if you haven't seen it, don't worry. I will be republishing this live stream. So everybody who maybe joined late will have the opportunity to view this. We're here live with Substack mammoth horror author John Watson. We're here with Jonathan Scar and myself, CT Finney from Tales from Sphyra. And I'm so happy to have all of these viewers here. This is incredible. So do us a favor, subscribe to John, subscribe to me, subscribe to Jonathan. We would love to have you guys. We are all very active, all posting. And this has been so awesome just to be able to sit down and just talk with these two like brilliant horror minds. So I'm in heaven at this moment. Last round, we're going to throw scenarios to each other of play a game of Would You Rather. I'm very nervous as to what Jonathan Scar has prepared because he's I know him too well. So we're gonna save him for last. I just have a feeling it's gonna be something maniacally unhinged. So we're gonna save Jonathan for last. That way, if it falls apart, I just hit the end button and we'll all go home happy.
Just cancel.
No, I'm here for it.
Oh, John, you need to join my Discord, by the way. So you subscribed to me already. So all you have to do, I will shoot you a DM with the invite to the Discord link. If you don't have one, just make yourself a Discord account. It is
I have one. I never use it, but yeah.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So it's and for everybody in the audience, let me advertise. Yeah, so Tales from Sphyra, I have a Discord where I connect with my subscribers. It started out as just a way to do that. I just wanted to be able to connect a little more intimately with the people who had subscribed to me. And what it has turned into is this like amazing like place of just like absolute creative chaos where it's like a bunch of creative minds are just hanging out. Sometimes saying the most zany, unhinged things in the universe. So, but there's also like we're supporting each other's work, we're giving each other feedback, we're actively talking with each other, using each other as bouncing boards. It's just a beautiful place to be. So if you'd like to join that Discord and get in on that mania, give me a subscription, DM me, and I will send you the invite link to it because we are having a blast with it. So anyhow, with that advertisement, thank you very much. Let's go on into our round of Would You Rather. And Mr. Watson, why don't you kick us off with this round?
Well, I kept it quite PG. I was going to do the Would You Rather Eat your eyeball or your tongue, but I thought I'll keep it right. Would you rather hear whispers in the attic at night or footsteps in your hallway at night?
Ooh.
Whispers in the attic.
I'm going to say the same. Yeah.
It's further.
It's I can rationalize that. I can be like, oh, that it's got to be a vent or something. Like I'm just hearing things. But if you hear footsteps in the hallway, you're like, oh, someone is in this freaking house right now. Something is coming. Like, so yeah, I would say I'd rather hear the whispers in the attic. What about you, John?
Are the probably the whispers? I mean, it's again, you can get away, but are the whispers talking dirty? Because that's.
I mean, my God, that'd be the most action I'd had.
He whispered.
I'm a man of a certain age.
I love it so much. The whispers just being like, "What are you wearing?"
I would say nothing and they would leave.
All right, let me do mine.
John, what would you choose?
The whispers.
Yeah. Whispers.
Because I've actually heard whispers in the house before, so the whispers are okay.
Nice. All right, so mine is this. I'm taking us back to pop culture with mine, so a little bit more. Would you rather spend one night alone in the Overlook Hotel from The Shining or solve the lament configuration from Hellraiser knowing the Cenobites are coming?
Oh, I'm in the Overlook. I'd stay in the
Overlook, I think.
You don't want to be ripped apart in eternal agony and torment? That doesn't appeal to you, Scar?
Aren't there chains and hooks and stuff involved?
Yeah,
I'm back in. I'm considering.
I have moisturized this beautiful face to perfection. I don't need to pull apart by hooks.
Destroy beauty. What are we doing here?
I'll probably. I mean, low key. Honestly, I would rather solve the configuration. I want to become a Cenobite. I just think it would be so torturous, but it'd be fun. Like, you know,
I don't know, man.
I want to see Cenobite Finn. That would be amazing.
I already know my new Chat GPT prompt. I'm gonna have it come up with a Cenobite version of me. Let's see if it can do it well.
Amazing.
All right, what you got, Scar? Here we go. All right.
Would you rather pee every time you stand up or poop every time you sit down? I'm just joking.
Oh God, that's like.
But while we're here, which would you choose?
I'm almost 60, man. It's happening. Both are happening as we speak.
He's like, yes. What do you mean? Oh my God. Okay. No, for real. And I did keep it somewhat reined in, and I'm trying to get a little cerebral here with the would you rather. And this is an age-old question. It's a bit of a trope, but I do think there could be some unpacking here. If you had to choose between two eternal forms, either a vampire or a werewolf, which would you choose to be? Because I present you with it. Think about it. If you're a vampire, you're immortal. You're spending the rest of your life watching everyone you care about age and die, and you're trying not to devour them. If you're a werewolf, you're basically spending the majority of your time keeping it under wraps and trying not to devour those that you love every full moon. So if you had to choose vampire or werewolf, which would it be?
Very easy for me. Be a vampire. I'd become a vampire. I would turn my wife. I would turn my kids.
Problem solved. No more aging.
And it would be like a Christmas gift. Everybody would wake up and be like, surprise! You're all dead.
Vampires are always just stinking hot, and I can actually wear the clothes I want to wear, you know, like the real goth, velvet bullshit.
I love that. Yes. Oh God, that's a hard one for me. Okay, so looking at our chat, Marshall J says vampire. Kathy Dirksen says werewolf. The mythologist is vampire.
David
David
has a
D.
perfect answer.
Etheridge is vampire.
That's a
Yeah,
perfect
everybody's
answer from
split.
David.
I don't. That's a tough question because on one hand, like I love werewolves. We've already established this.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I love the romance of the vampire. Just the idea of just this eternal thing that just never dies, and I'm a little vain, so I would probably be a vampire only to like never have to like grow old and don't have to worry about sagging and stuff like that. That seems good. And then I think John's solution is really great. Just turn everybody I care about, and then that takes care of all of that. But what about you, Scar? What are you doing?
What's the book by Christopher Buehlman? Is it the Lesser Dead with the vampires? That's really good. And basically, the form you're in when you are changed to a vampire, that's the form that you remain with forever. So age, and so don't get turned while you have a boner, because it's permanent.
I'm okay with that too.
Yes. Latharis Archive says, well, do you remember the Discord discussion about vampires? And yes, Latharis, I absolutely do remember that. So this tells you how unhinged the Discord is, John, and why you need to be a part of it. A while back, we had this whole, brawl in my Discord about the idea of like when a vampire turns, and they go into rigor mortis, like, do they stay hard? And is it like a permanent hardness, or is it just one of those things for like, are they eternally limp because their blood no longer flows, right? So it's like that really, makes a big deal. So that was a whole fight that we had a Discord.
You make it that big long fork tongue, so you don't really
And then what I love about because we have all of these like creative writers in the Discord, people just suddenly started like doing their research, and they're like sending us articles, and they're like, well, according to this, rigor mortis works this way, so blah 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 blah, and it just became like one of the best things ever. I
think the term rigor erectus was thrown in there at some point. I don't know. I think
wonderful.
I think I would have to go vampire currently, because I love the concept of a werewolf. And maybe Jonathan Scar of 15 years ago, when I didn't have children and things like that, it just seems like to be a werewolf is a liability. It's a variable in the equation you have to factor in. I just think vampire is probably the safe bet.
Yeah. It seems like maybe the most control. I don't know. Maybe not.
I mean, as a vampire too, you get to write forever.
That's true.
You do. That is true.
Stories that you
just have to change your pen name every like 50 years, so people don't.
Scar's been running for 1,500 years.
What is the licensing on that? I have loved this so much. So we're about an hour and 13 in now. If anyone has any questions for me, John Watson, or Jonathan Scar, please throw them up in the chat. And John, do you have any questions? Is there anything you want to know about me or Jonathan at all?
It's not so much a question. I don't know if anyone saw it, or probably anyone that didn't see it. I've got a free book going right now.
Cool.
It was my very first novel, Karaoke Night. I've kind of rebranded it, put it up in my Buy Me a Coffee store, and I've got it free until July 6th. So I'll restack that on my page when I'm done with this, and everyone get the code so they can get it for free.
Absolutely. So you guys heard that. So make sure to get your free copy. That's incredible.
Jonathan, I'm probably going to hit you up about writing kind of grimdark stuff, and maybe help me write something kind of modern urban fantasy. I might try and write a flash piece or something. I'm kind of in that stage right now where I want to try new things. Like, that's why I'm doing the podcast thing, and that's why I'm doing the YA. Just want to try different things, not get fail.
Let's see. Scotty says, thanks for making me laugh at my desk. And you were so welcome.
Awesome.
Okay, so we have a question from Kathy Dirksen. John, what are your sleep dreams like?
Horrible, usually. Very vivid. And I can, for the most part, I keep a notepad, but for the most part, I can remember them really well. I have one, I've got recurring dream about this haunted house.
Yeah.
It's always the same on the outside, but it's always different inside, and it's always awful. And when I wake up, it usually takes me like a week to shake the feeling that I lived there at some point. It won't go away, and it comes. It's usually at this point, it's usually every 6-7 months I'll have it. It shows up again, but for the most part, my dreams are absolutely horrible.
That's wild. And you've struggled with those dreams like all your life?
Yeah.
But they fuel your creativity.
I mean, that's the thing as a horror writer. It's like a gift. You know?
Yeah. I
a good nightmare. I can't remember who it was in the Discord. If it was the Galactic Linda or maybe it was Grimoire. I can't remember. Someone chimed in at one point and just said, "It's been a while since I've had a good nightmare."
Almost guaranteed to have one of that.
Yeah. So Lotharis Archives has a question for all three of us. Is all three, what's your favorite horror movie? So think about that one. Let's see. If either of you guys want to take it first. If
you ask me on a different day of a different thing, but usually, I've usually get The Thing is always up near the top, like the Carpenter special. The Exorcist is always up there. The Shining.
Yeah,
that is a good one.
Alien.
Yeah, I've told this story before as well. I was at work kind of recently, and a coworker walked in my office, and I usually have a movie on in the background as I'm working, and they said, "Why are you watching The Exorcist at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday?"
For comfort.
I love it. It puts me at ease. I don't know why. Exorcist is up. The Descent. The Descent pops to my head. Is one that I love. I'm a big fan. Have either of you fellas seen the movie Possession? Old school.
I don't think so.
Worth checking out. Just unhinged. Okay. Yeah. Sam Neill is in it pre-Event Horizon and back in the day. Possession
is a good one. I'm trying to think, but my favorite horror movies change so much. It depends on like what I'm in the mood for. I mean, I've always been like a huge like Clive Barker fan, but I don't know. Do it? Oh shit! What is
Pumpkinhead, right there.
Oh, is that? Oh, Pumpkinhead. Yeah, that's a good one.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's amazing job.
I guess like if I have to choose one. The first one. This one is not even. I mean, I don't even know. No. Do you want to build a snowman? No. The one movie that just made me love horror so much was Bram Stoker's Dracula, the one that starred Gary Oldman, and I loved that one so much. I mean, it wasn't. The weird part is it was everybody called it a horror movie, but I just found it erotically stimulating, which was very strange. And I realized at 5 years old when watching it, I was like, maybe I have problems, like But if we want to get like.
How old was when you saw your first horror movie, John? How old were you?
I can tell you a story about that actually. I can't remember how it came around. I was probably 8 or 9, and I remember on Friday nights they used to have a double feature on it. Would close. This was a time when there wasn't 24-hour TV. They would close the night out with back-to-back black and whites. It was all those big creature features like the Attack of the Giant Spider and all that type of stuff, right? Yeah. So I would say to my mom, I'd say, "Can I stay up and watch that?" Because I'd see the ad and go, "Oh, can I stay up and watch the Attack of the Giant Spider?" She'd be like, "No, you can't. You go to your bed." So she'd send me to bed, and then about 20 minutes later, when everyone else was in bed, she would come and wake me up. Right, come on, and we'd go in and we'd sit, and she was scared, and I was scared, and we'd sit and we'd watch the old black and white. So when I was getting all the horror monsters tattooed on me, I got a bunch of them on here. You get.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So along the wrist, it says here, after my mom passed, it says, well, if you can see it here. Thanks for the late nights, Mom.
Nice.
So that's so cool.
That's when I love a horror. I promise. That's when I can really remember falling in love with horror, was sitting beside my mom watching all the
yeah.
That's so cool. Finn and I both watched what's that?
Did you answer the question though? What was your favorite horror film, Scar?
Probably Possession.
Okay, cool.
Both need to watch.
Right.
Yeah, Finn and I both saw Hellraiser when we were both about 8, I think is what we determined.
Yeah.
We determined that was like the tipping point for psychosis, and
it was
The
It
World
was-
of the Dark. Too
It was
young,
on from then on. Yeah.
but yeah.
Those are good.
Now,
Well,
what about your favorite movie outside of horror?
outside of horror, okay, that one's an easy one for me. The Hours. If you haven't seen that one, it's
Is
an
that
amazing
Anthony
cast.
Hopkins?
No, Anthony Hopkins isn't in that one, but The Hours has very good film. It follows it's about Virginia Woolf, and so it's kind of about like how she was writing Mrs. Dalloway. So it's about that whole thing, but it follows three different storylines. So one is Virginia Woolf, who is played by Nicole Kidman. And so it follows her storyline of what was going on in her life when she was writing Mrs. Dalloway. The second one is Julianne Moore, who plays the mother of one of the characters in the modern time who was influenced by the book Mrs. Dalloway. And the third one is Meryl Streep. And she has her own timeline where she plays like the best friend and former lover of this poet who was influenced by Mrs. Dalloway. And so it's crazy. Like, it's just one of those films that just like all of the plot lines just start to converge. And it's just so well done. I think the score was done by Philip Glass. And so it's just the music and the plot and everything. It's just this, it's not an upper. I'm going to tell you that it's not an upper. It is a depressing movie. It will make you cry, but it put me on a path when I watched it. But at its heart, it's just a story about mental health and creativity is really what it is. And like the relationship between the two of them. So I found it absolutely riveting. I couldn't, it changed my life when I watched it. So who's next?
I mean, it's. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'm sure there's probably another answer, but I'm just every Christmas I kind of go back and I watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I just love those so much.
That's a good one.
Ring. So they were great movies beyond just being good fantasy Greek territory. I mean, Return of the King won Best Picture. They're just really well done films. So yeah, I love that trilogy. What about you, John?
There's one movie when I'm flicking through the TV and it's on, I stop at it every time. Doesn't matter where it's at in the movie, I stop at it and I watch. It's Pulp
Willy
Fiction.
Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, nice.
I love Pulp Fiction. That is a great film. Love that. That's a classic.
You can rewatch it a million times. It never gets old.
Okay, another one I love, like along those lines, Clockwork Orange. A Clockwork Orange. That one fucked me up when I saw it. I mean, it was like that was a very cerebral film, and then I just loved it though. I was like, wow. I was like, so if you haven't seen A Clockwork Orange, you definitely need to watch it, but you got to be prepared when you watch that one.
I'll give you a good horror movie that a lot of people haven't seen. It's kind of under the radar. It's called Last Shift. This female police officer goes to this is in this cop shop that's closing down, and she's staying there overnight, and it just all kicks off.
Yeah,
she's there herself.
Okay.
I'm writing it down.
Last Shift. All right, I'll have to remember that. We should have a movie night, Scar, at some point and catch up on these. That would be a lot of fun. All right, folks, we are at like almost an hour and a half now, which is wild. So
42 viewers.
I know, and you guys have stayed with us, and it's been like consistent, and I am so grateful for you guys showing up to this live stream today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm so happy to have you guys having hung out with us. So like, allow me to say thank you again, one last time. Happy to have featured John Watson on both Project Abracadabra, my narration podcast, and here on the live stream. So John, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for reading that. Your reading was fantastic. I loved it. You really brought that story to life.
My pleasure. I loved it so much. So again, if you have not subscribed to this horror mammoth of Substack, go and do so. You will not be disappointed. He is so active. He treats it like a full-time job. And this guy just writes some really great quality stuff. Subscribe to me for more cool content with Project Abracadabra, these live streams, and then my own 2 serial novels that I have right now, Oracle and A Bargain to Become. And subscribe to Jonathan Scar, because he is an amazing grimdark writer with his serial out currently, Godfang, and his book, which is out, Black Sun Revenant. Very excited for that one and all the projects he has coming on there. So
Is that on Amazon?
Yes.
it is available on Amazon. Yeah,
I shall buy
absolutely.
that immediately.
So, all right. I thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you for reading and listening along to Tales from Sphyra. And until the next time, we will see you guys by the fireside. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, John.
Thank you.